What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Oda J and we are locked in. This is episode 3 of The Last of Us. And before we get started, what I want you to do is set your phone down and take a moment of silence with me so we can remember Joel Miller. R.I.P. to Joel. He went out doing what he loved, and that was saving people. Now, in episode 3, it's time to figure out how we gonna get some get back because there ain't no way we letting Joel go out like that. Abby is not about to just get away and Ellie just stand around and let that slide. We know that the base Jackson got overran, but we handled that. We got rid of everybody that we could. And now we're going to be jumping ahead 3 months and moving on without Joel. So before we jump into this and break down episode 3 and get a recap, if you like The Last of Us, make sure you tune in tonight. We're going to actually break down episode 3 live. Then hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button. And we're doing this each and every week. This is episode 3. We got 4 episodes left. And then we got season 3 dropping, hopefully, at the end of the year. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Just a recap of episode 3, The Last of Us. Picking up right where we left off, we seen that Jackson had been overran. Everything is on fire, and the fire is starting to die down. Well, unfortunately, Joel didn't make it. And once they brought him back from the cabin, the lodge up the hill, we see Tommy come in and he's looking at his brother and he's very, very tearful. And he looks at his brother's watch, and the watch is all cracked up. Ellie wakes up in the hospital. Now remember, she ended up getting whooped on by Abby and the crew, the ex-Fireflies. Now, all they did was really kick her in the gut, roughed her up a little bit, but she did witness Joel. So when she wakes up in the hospital, she doesn't know where she is, but the first thing on her mind is Joel getting stabbed by a golf club by Abby. Now, she's screaming. There's other injured patients in here. They got to put her under. They got to dope her up, put her back to sleep. We see everyone in Jackson 3 months later trying to rebuild the town. Obviously, this is where they live, and they definitely need the protection because we've seen that the bloaters, they didn't bust it through the walls, so they're reinforcing it. And what we're starting to see is a changing of the guard. Remember, Ellie even told Jesse, you're going to take over Jackson one day. And it looks like he's moving up to be a part of the board to oversee everything and the decisions that Jackson makes. And we see the changing of the guard between him and Tommy. Tommy's a little bit older. Jesse's younger and stronger. So what does he do? He takes the mallet and he gets to work, showing that he's putting in the work for Jackson. While everyone is outside earning their keep, Ellie, it's finally time for her to leave the hospital. Now, the doctor checks all of her vitals and everything is all right, but he says she needs to see one person before she goes to make sure that her mind is clear. And who is that? That's right, it's Gail. Now, remember, she did talk to Joel before he was deleted. And now she's just trying to get Ellie to start confessing to what is going on with her. Now, she never got to talk to Joel after the little incident at the damn New Year's Eve dance, but she wishes she could have. She wished she could have changed that. And that's why you always got to tell those around you that you love them. So Ellie gets to leave, but that hurt is on her heart. Ellie leaves the hospital and heads back to the house. Now, remember, she's living out in the garage. So now there's a memorial in front of the house. Everyone came and paid their respects for Joel because he was very instrumental in the whole Jackson community. She goes into the house. She goes into her old room. The mattress is missing, but it's the same way that she left it. And she did just tell Gail that she wished she could have let Joel off the hook, or maybe let herself off the hook for everything that transpired between the two. When she goes in Joel's room, there's a box in there, and it's placed right there on the bed. Inside of it, what is it? It's the watch, Joel's watch. And up under it is his gun. Now, who would have put that there? The last person we know that was with the watch in Joel's body was Tommy. So he left it specifically for Ellie. Let's be honest, we all love a good flannel. And Ellie's in Joel's closet crying because she's just thinking about Joel, and the smell and just being back in the house reminds her of Joel. Dina ends up showing up and she's in the kitchen. Now, when Ellie goes in there, she offers her some cookies. She's like, when'd you get out? She's like, today. Now, the reason Dina brought these cookies is because she wanted to soften the blow that she's about to give Ellie. She lied to Ellie, and what she lied about is she knows exactly who Abby and all of the other people's names were. but they didn't want to tell Ellie because they didn't want her to go after him. So Dina, she knows a little something something, but we all know what Ellie is capable of. And even though Tommy gave her that gun, he wants her to do something about it because that was his brother. Now everybody was trying to recover it. It took 3 months to get to where they're at. So that's one reason Dina was telling Ellie, look, no one's trying to go do that right now, but I know all of them. Abby is the leader. There's a girl named Nora, and Eugene told us a story about something going on in Seattle, and there's an organization called the Wolf, and they're going against Fedra. Now, we all know what Fedra is. They the ones that's been holding it down. Turns out that Dina knows a lot of information. Ellie heads straight over to Tommy. Tommy, we got to get up. We need to get out and go get them. Abby is their leader. They got a girl named Nora, and we think that they moved up to Seattle around that area. Ain't that right, Dina? And Dina's like, yeah. Tommy's like, listen, I want to go get even. I'm not saying you shouldn't go do that, Ellie. That's my brother, so trust me. I want to get some get back also, but we got to do this right. And you remember, they're in Jackson, so they need to bring this to the board. They need to bring this to the council and actually vote on it because we're risking other people's lives just to get revenge for one person, Joel. Now, I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, the most important thing is the safety of Jackson. We see a group of people walking through the woods and we're wondering, who are they? Now, they all have a cut on both sides of their mouth and they got this weird logo on their back. Now, the guy up front, you can tell that he's the leader and he has a little girl next to him. And he's just telling her about whoever's out there in the woods and how us as a community, we move together, and those people out there, they have their own ways. Now, you end up hearing a whistle, and this whistle is to alert the leader that something ain't right. So he whistles back, and that means take cover. So everyone jumps off in the woods. And now what they're doing is laying low, and they're being very, very quiet because it looks like their weapons are very inadequate for this type of terrain. Jesse has Ellie in the room training, punching bag, punching bag, heavy bag. She's going at it. We're like, okay, Ellie, she's recovering very nicely. And she has the wolf logo up on the wall, using that as a little bit of motivation. Now, Jesse's like, all right, you're almost at 80% to where you need to be. Now, remember, Tommy told Ellie that the only way they're going to be able to go and get revenge for Joel is if the council votes on it. And guess what? Jesse's on the council. Now, he's telling Ellie, I'm not telling you anything. I can't give you any information. And don't go in there angry. Write down what you want to say and present it to the council because they need to be able to vote on it. They want to take 16 members to go get revenge for Joel. It's the day of the meeting and everyone is in here. Now, what this council is really called here for is to determine if we're going to go out there and get Joel. Now, one guy's talking about getting chickens and the corn. No one's here for that. We all want to know, are we getting revenge? Now, some people are saying, nah, we shouldn't go get revenge. Not right now. And guess who speaks up? Seth speaks up and he's like, nah, we need to go get revenge. Even though him and Joel had their little incident on New Year's, he's still like, this is for Jackson. We got to get some get back because if we don't, they'll come back and attack us later on. And everyone's like, Seth, sit down. He said, no, they need to hear this. Ellie gets up and she took Jesse's advice. She's not in here angry and she wrote down exactly what she wants to do. And she's telling everyone, we need to do this not only for Joel, but for us. This would be some camaraderie. This would bring up the morale. And we need to go and get this revenge. 16 people. Let's get out there. We kind of know where they're going, headed up towards Seattle. Let's get it. Well, the council, they hear this. And you see even Gail's up top. She's smiling. Seth is on her side also. The council, they got to come to a vote. Now, they do this vote. And it turns out to be 8-3 in favor of nay. They don't want to risk 16 people going out there to go and get these people. We don't even know where they're located. So I understand where both sides is coming from, but I'm with the council. No, we're not doing it. The council said no. Ellie's upset. Tommy really wanted to go get some get back for his brother. Also, that's why he, quote unquote, left that gun for Ellie. Now, he goes and meets up with Gail, and she's talking about she smokes, she drinks a little bit because there's no other shrink for her to go and see. Now, they both understand what's going on here. They both enjoyed having Joel here. Tommy loved him. That was his brother. Gail, even though he took out Eugene, she still felt a certain type of way about him. Now, neither one of them know that Ellie's going to stop until she goes and gets this get back. So it's kind of like, do we just let it go or do we try to stop her? But they both know there's no way that they're going to be able to stop her because Ellie is looking like Joel is kind of a father figure to her. Ellie said, the hell with this council, the hell with getting 16 members. I'm sliding to Seattle by myself and I'm going to make it happen. Now, Ellie has a mini arsenal here. She got a long rifle, she got that revolver, she got the ammo, and it is what it is. Well, Dina comes and shows up. And Ellie's nervous because she doesn't know who's out there and she got all this weapon and ammo. Dina comes in and Dina's like, so you're going to go out there by yourself, huh? Well, it turns out Dina has already put together a plan. So she got some medical supplies and she tells her straight up, you need to be able to carry everything in one bag and everything else is taken care of by Dina. So everything in one bag and we going to hit the road. Now I got a horse set up. We're going to go out the back gate. Meet me at 3 a.m. Oh, and also, Ellie, next time all you had to do is ask. You know I'm trying to roll with you. I want to get some get back for Joe. So Ellie's looking at Dina thinking, I didn't even know that you were really ready to go and get like that. So these two are about to head out at 3 a.m. Ellie and Dina meet up with their connect. Now, Dina's been putting in work behind the scenes, and it turns out the person at the stable that got the horse for him, it was Seth. Now, Seth and Ellie, they had their New Year's thing, but he's like, that's behind us. What you need to do is do this for us. This is for our cause. So he ends up giving her an upgraded rifle with a better sniper, with a better scope on it, so she can get to sniping. Now, Ellie, she's kind of not with it, but she does know that she needs this better rifle. And Seth, it looks like he may have came too, because regardless of what we got going on, protecting Jackson, that's the number one priority. Before they actually get on the road and head on out, Dina and Ellie go and pay their respect to Joel one last time. Ellie goes over there by herself, takes a knee, and sheds a little of a tear. But this is necessary. She just wants Joel to know that she's here, and she's sorry that they didn't get to squash whatever little issues they had before they headed out. But just know, Joel, we're not stopping until we get the one that they call Abby that did this to you. These two been riding nonstop headed to Seattle. Now, it's not like they have anything to talk about because there's no TV, no newspaper, none of that. So they're just going down the alphabet. In every letter, they talk about something and they give their opinion about it. But they end up pitching tent. And in that night, they get to talking a little bit. And now Dina wants to know, was she a good kisser? Because she never kissed a girl before. And she assumes that Ellie was GAY and kissed girls before. Now, Ellie's like, what? But she said it was a 6 out of 10. Ellie ain't never kissed nobody, I don't think. But they go through this, and you can see that Dina and Ellie, they're getting close to each other. As they're headed to Seattle, they end up stopping in the road because they see a cart turned over. Now, you remember that group of individuals we seen earlier? Well, one of them is laying down in the street, RIP, with his logo on his back. Now, we looking around and we see bullets everywhere. Dina went off into the woods. She comes back and starts throwing up. So Ellie's like, what the hell? She goes through the woods, and what does she see? All of them slaughtered, laying out in the woods. And you remember that little girl that took the hammer? Well, she's out there also, and it didn't look good for her. RIP to this crew, but they didn't make it. It looks like the wolves got to her. Ellie and Dina start getting close to Seattle because now they're starting to see cars all abandoned on the side of the road. And once they get there, they go to the edge of the highway and they overlook the city. Now they see Seattle. Next thing they need to find is where Abby is. But we get to see the side of Wolf that they know nothing about. Now they have a whole militia. They actually got Humvees. They got real deal guns. Not sniper rifles, real guns. And they are marching one by one, hurrah, hurrah. So it looks like Seattle is a stronghold, and Ellie and Dina, they better be prepared because this can get ugly for them very, very quickly. All right, there you go, the recap for episode 3 of The Last of Us. Let me know what you think about it. Would you have went on that trip to Seattle knowing that we potentially needed 16 people, but it's just you two? Or would you have just stayed back and let bygones be bygones and just hoped that no one else came and attacked you guys? Because Jackson can hold it down against all of those infected. They could definitely hold it down against some human beings. But let me know what you think. I'm Modi J. Tune in tonight. We're going to break the show down live, have a little fun, little jokey joke. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.